Moved over from Ohio State, back in the homeland, back in the hometown. How's the move treating you? You're settled in?
Yeah, it's been great. Back in the motherland of Indiana. Transition went really smooth.
What NFL teams intrigue you?
Really like the Lions. I really like, the Vikings. I feel like both of them, like especially the Lions, kind of have that like gritty, tough feel. Like,
Dream celebrity to have in your offensive line?
oh man, he might not be a very good offensive lineman, but I think Snoop Dogg would be pretty cool to play next to. I think it'd be awesome.
How important has family been for you? How big is football in your family?
My stepfather, that's been around my life for a while. He's been around for about 12 years, 13 years in my family, so very established family member. But he was the one that got me into football.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to Zen Michalski over at the Hoosiers now. Moved over from Ohio State, back in the homeland, back in the hometown. How's the move treating you? You're settled in?
Yeah, it's been great. Back in the motherland of Indiana. Transition went really smooth. We're through spring ball now and everything, so I'm pretty settled in. Just loving it and really excited for this upcoming season.
What excites you most about this next step in the journey?
A big thing for me is just just new scenery and like being on a new team, new faces, and like coming from Ohio State. A lot of it is just a different culture and getting to experience a different, team and how different coaches want to go about things. And it'll just be a good experience for me to kind of see maybe the flip side of another program or something like that. So I'm just really excited about the opportunity.
It's a big move. What are the key factors for you that made you want to move over?
Um, to Indiana or just, change up, transfer portal kind of thing.
Yeah, both, and specifically Indiana.
Specifically Indiana, I'm right down the road. I'm about an hour and a half. Family's really close, and not that Columbus was too much further. It was about 3.5 hours, but my family was still able to make it to games. But being home, seeing my family a whole lot more, and just being in I feel a little bit more interlinked with my people back home, and people being able to see me play and all that. And Indiana's a great program. I love Coach Sig and the coaching staff here, and I'm just really excited to keep working with them. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better already. So
Yeah, Coach Sig, or Curt Cignetti for the uninitiated, he's got a really strong reputation for building a winning culture, developing talent. How was being recruited with him, and what have you picked up so far?
I really like his coaching style. He's a very, we're not no bullshit. We're not going to waste time kind of coach. So get in, work when work is supposed to be done. When work is not supposed to be done, that's your time, to refresh, reboot, whatever you want to do, get away from football. But I think that he does a really good job of not burning guys out, keeping us fresh, keeping us ready to go. I feel like in the past, I had experienced a little bit of that because I mean, the football season, of course, now is really long, but for college athletes, like you're kind of in it all the time, 24/7. So just building a culture and a program that guys can come in and really just be at their best, every day is really important. I think he's done that.
You have to live and breathe it, right? Was this always going to be it for you? Was football the one for you? How did you fall in love with the game?
Man, it's weird. Like I really didn't start playing until around eighth grade. I was, pretty late to it. I didn't play as a kid. I never really watched football until maybe my, junior year of high school. I started getting recruited after my junior season as a really undersized, kind of tall, lengthy tackle, kind of tight end guy. And, it was never something that I had planned on, never something that, as a kid, I had dreamed of playing college football my whole life, but it kind of came to me in its own way. And I'm just so grateful like, just for all the things that, football has done for me. And, um, yeah, I'm just so happy to be where I'm at and that I did get the opportunities to go play and get scholarships and, you know, just be in the position that I'm in. And even if it wasn't always the plan, I'm happy. Plans change. So,
What is special about this sport for you?
um, I feel like I feel like there's learning to do and deal with really hard things, a lot of adversity and a lot of as an 18-year-old kid coming into college, you don't really understand what that means. You might think that high school football was tough, or you guys had some hard workouts or like hard moments where, it's, not going your way and you had to, overcome and do things. But college is so different. It's such a different animal. And I think that it teaches you a lot about yourself, a lot about, what it is that you can really take on and do as a person, as a human being. Teaches you just so many like life lessons and obviously moral values, and you get to you learn discipline. You learn like waking up at 5:30. Like you got to be on time. There is no like 5:31, 5:35. Like there is a time, a place, a drill, a command. Like it's you just learn so much, and I think that not playing football, people are just like way less prepared for life. Honestly, it's tough. It is what it is. What it is. It's just kind of my view on it. But yeah.
Team culture is so important. What's the locker room like over there in Indiana compared to Ohio State, and how are you gelling?
Oh, it's been good. All the guys are good. I mean, it's definitely different. I feel like, looking at it from Ohio State to Indiana, Ohio State had much less of a transfer portal culture. We would kind of have maybe like two, three guys come in a year, two, three guys leave a year. It was a lot of the same faces, like for 2, 3, 4 years. And like my 2021 class over there, like guys like Jack Sawyer and Marvin and Emeka and like Donovan Jackson, Tyleek, like all these guys that I've been around for 4 years and pretty much grew up with. Like it's so different coming to a team now that last year half the guys are coming from a different program completely that have a different culture, and just that kind of colliding. And there's a lot of new guys this year. I'm a new guy, so coming in the winter, a lot of it was kind of take a step back and get a lay of the land, see how they like to do things, see what the expectation and the standard for stuff is before I open my mouth about stuff. So yeah, but I think it's really good. I think that we're building something special over here, and I think that guys are buying in more and more every day. And we got some new guys, coming in from the spring portal that got to get up to speed. But I think so far it's been really good, and I'm excited about it.
Fernando Mendoza looks like he'll be stepping in as a potential starting QB as an offensive lineman. What strengths do you see there?
I just love his personality. He's a great dude. You kind of got to mesh with, your quarterback a lot, and he's very calm and collected. And like, maybe if things are going great at practice, he's a very positive guy, like not dragging guys down, not if I let up a sack, like you get on me, but like I know what I did wrong. I'm a fifth-year guy. Like it's not a pride thing to get in my ass. You know what I mean? So I think that he does a good job about that. He also is he's got some wheels on him. I'm happy that he can move. That's always really really helpful for an offensive lineman. Just you kind of got a little bit of an eraser for some mistakes there. Quarterback being able to help you out. So he's a really talented dude. He has a lot of experience. And after spring ball, I thought he had a really good spring ball, and I'm excited to see, how it transitions into fall camp.
As an offensive lineman, is there a guy for you who's the gold standard?
Gold standard on our team, or kind of like that I look at that I want to
Yeah,
kind of mold myself after.
in the entire world of football.
Yeah, I would say for me, when I'm thinking of an offensive lineman, someone that I got to, that I'm pretty close friends with is Paris Johnson. He was at Ohio State with me, just great guy, great, one of my really good friends, and he really approaches everything with a, 100% all the time, 110% effort kind of guy. And he's a really good, just like smart, ask a lot of questions, and kind of just does things right. He's really on the field. He's very, he's a mean dude on the field, but off the field, he's a great guy. And that's kind of who I want to be like, who I try to, you know, work ethic wise, base my stuff around, or drills that he's doing or whatever. That's kind of who I think of.
Coaches are so important in these years of your career. Was there any lessons you took away from Ryan Day or even Will Howard?
Yeah, Coach Day, I mean, man, so we went through so much with Coach Day, obviously, like from 2021 on, my freshman year coming in, and we lose to a team up north for the first year ever, or Michigan, or whatever you want to call them. And then we don't go to the playoffs. We go to the Rose Bowl. We win the Rose Bowl, and it was like, oh, whatever. It didn't really feel like winning the Rose Bowl didn't feel like the standard. And he did a really good job of like keeping the team to that standard. There was no, I think something you say a lot is like, we can't have any bad days. Like, we're not allowed to have any bad days. Like, you can't go out and have a bad day on a Saturday and lose a game because like one loss in their season is like season's horrible. You know what I mean? And obviously this last year we were able to do something really special and win the Natty. But you look back at it, and you're like, man, we lost to Michigan for the fourth year in a row. Man, we didn't win the Big Ten championship. Like, yeah, the playoffs was awesome. We made a great story and a great run, but there's just so much left on the bone. And I think that I'm not there anymore, but I still have a really good relationship with Coach Day and just the guys over there. And it seems like they are, you know, the standard is still high. Like they're not satisfied. So I'd say that that's what I've taken away from Coach Day is just always being hungry for that stuff and understanding like what is achievable and what you should be, doing, and don't, let the standard fall.
I love that photo of you, just crowned champion, cigar in the locker room. That's what it's all about. Can you take me through what was going through your mind, how that felt for you?
Man, it was awesome. I mean, the season for me individually didn't go, how I wanted it. I got, finally started really, I got to major, minutes playing and our big matchup against Oregon. And then I started the following week. And then the last play of the game, virtually, I, get hurt. And I had to kind of, just ride it out. I didn't really get to do much the whole like the regular season. I was kind of just nursing that, trying to get back on the field. And then I was able to play in our Tennessee game a little bit, which was awesome. I kind of knew that I was going to leave after the year. I was, I was worried about maybe something happening and then I couldn't leave. So I kind of, I was kind of there and I was like, look, you guys need me to do, I'm here to play. I was already in the portal and it was all this, I was on the team, but it was just seeing the guys rally and come back after just that heartbreaking, like, week 12 or whatever, 14 that we lost to Team Up North, and coming back the way we did against Tennessee was just amazing. And, the next game, Oregon, coming back after losing to them, and I mean, just embarrassing them in California was awesome. And it really felt like a huge redemption, like, because we had talked about when the seedings got out, we had talked about like for our class, like the 2021 class, this was like a huge revenge tour for us. So like we got to play Tennessee. That was whatever. Like we wanted to get back at the SEC. And then the next week we got to go back to California, go back to the Rose Bowl where we were at our freshman year, and get revenge on Oregon for the regular season loss. And then the next week we went to the Cotton Bowl where we had lost the year prior to Missouri. So we got to go, wipe that off, win in the Cotton Bowl, win stadium, and that area was awesome. And then obviously we got to play Notre Dame for the third year in a row and keep the streak alive on that and win the Natty. So it was awesome. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was probably one of the best days of my life.
Hell yeah. That injury though, it's part of the game, right? How do you deal with it? What did you take away from it?
It was just tough because being at Ohio State, that was my first real time getting to, show what I got and start and play. And, I've unfortunately / fortunately I've been behind pretty much two guys that the number 6 overall selection in the 23 draft, Paris Johnson, and then I sat behind Josh Simmons, who was obviously a first round tackle this last year. So it was hard because I just had to like keep reminding myself that like, I'm here, I'm ready to go. Like I could have left after my third year, somewhere, but I really wanted to stay. I believed in what we had building as a team for 2024 and just got to kind of watch, some of the best. I mean, I think that if Josh never got hurt, I think that he would have been the first tackle off the board. Like just watch guys that are what it's supposed to look like play and how they, carry themselves like week in, week out. Just, I think I got to learn a lot of valuable things from them, which was great. But, obviously everyone has a plan for stuff and it's not always going to go that way. But I think that I've been very blessed with, how stuff has worked out, and I'm just really happy to be where I'm at.
How important is the support system when you're out injured, and how do you stay on path? Does your mind wander? Do you start to think, oh, maybe I should do something else? Like,
Yeah.
how do you stay focused?
really just trying to stay around the guys as much. I feel like that's the biggest thing is just be around and try to support them. Donovan Jackson, probably, I would say probably one of my best friends just in the whole world, when I got hurt, had to move out to left tackle. And I remember sitting there with him before the Penn State week because that was the next game that we had to play. And he was like, man, like I haven't played tackle since high school. Like it's a different world. You're on an island. You know what I mean? So I just remember him being really stressed. And he has way more experience than me. He's, been a 3-year starter. I'm like, man, like you got this, all this stuff. I think for me to stay locked in was just trying to support the guys as much as possible, watching film and just being around, especially because, that was at that point, Josh had gone down, then we had more injuries that year at that point than we had my whole first 3 years at Ohio State on the O line. So it was hard, but we got through it and we made the most of it. And like the crazy thing is that like we had 9 guys in our O line room take meaningful starter reps throughout our season. Like how often do you go 9 deep in an offensive line room and win the natty? Like that's what's crazy. I think like the national championship, we're playing with 3 backups from the beginning of the year. We only had 2 starters that didn't like, you know what I mean? It's just nuts.
How important has family been for you? How big is football in your family?
I would say football in my blood family, not as much, but my stepfather that's been around my life for a while. He's been around for about 12 years, 13 years in my family, so very established family member. But he was the one that got me into football and got me, in the right direction with that kind of sports thing because I was kind of just this big kid, kind of like didn't want to do anything, didn't want to play sports, and like he really helped me with that and just the support system of like he understands football and how hard it is and like just being there, and my actual dad as well is the same way. He's learning, but he just being there and like understanding like how hard it is and what it takes to do the stuff is, a big part of it. So just having someone to talk to about it's nice.
You originally committed to Louisville, right, as a 4-star
Mhm.
recruit, and then you chose Ohio State. How did that shape you, and what do you think of Louisville's direction right now?
Man, it's interesting and it's kind of interesting to think of, what could have been in that aspect and, what my life would look like if I would have committed or stayed in Louisville and what kind of player I'd be and all that stuff. But, I think that for me, like I didn't expect to get all these college offers and all this stuff. And when I was in high school and when it was kind of all rolling in, I was like, man, like trying to take it, day by day. And like, it just kind of felt like every day something new was popping up, some new coach. And, you know, I, I really just had felt like, it was the beginning of my senior year. I'm like, man, maybe I made the decision too early. Maybe I should kind of just wait or, take a step back for a second. So I decided to decommit, and Ohio State was coming at me really heavily. And when they got in the mix, a lot of other big schools got in the mix, and I was kind of just like, man, like this is kind of the best option of like, all right, I'm not going 18 hours away from home, but I want to have an opportunity to, try to be the best I can be. And so why not just go for it? And it was definitely scary. I mean, like it's a big program. I didn't even watch my first real season of watching college football was like the 2020 season because I'm like, man, I'm getting recruited by these teams. I better at least know if they're good. Like, you know what I mean? So I just, and Ohio State was in the national championship that year, and I'm like, man, I want to be there. Like, I want to do this. Like, I want to be on that stage. So that's kind of what went in that for me. And I think that Louisville is, they're building their program. I have some friends over there, some past teammates, transferred, like people that have left other programs, our program, and I think that they have a bright future this year, and I'm excited to see how they do.
So, being a national champion, what's the next big goal?
Man, that's tough. I really want to win a conference championship. I think a Big Ten championship would be to get to play in Lucas Oil would be awesome. And I know it's not as, glamorous. It is. It's big. It's a big achievement, but it's not the same thing as like, it's just so happens I have this hat on my table still, but it's not the national championship, but it is a championship. So I think that I want to win a Big Ten title before I'm done playing.
What NFL teams intrigue you? Is there any message you want to send to any coaches out there? Is there anything on the list for you?
If anybody that wants me to come play for them, hit me up. I think that, if I had to just throw out some teams that like, this is very biased, but teams I enjoy to watch, I really like the Lions. I really like, the Vikings. I feel like both of them, like especially the Lions, kind of have that like gritty, tough feel, like real culture in that program, which I think is really cool. For me, I know that it's not a pick or choose kind of thing, but I just really want to put myself in the best situation, 8 months from now to, have an opportunity. So I'm excited for this year, and I'm going to do my absolute best and give it my all. And just excited to see how everything turns out.
What were your takeaways from the draft? Any stories that surprised you, and anyone you think we should keep an eye on? Any dark horses in there?
Ooh, I think you guys should definitely keep an eye on. So these are some of my best friends from Ohio State, but Donovan Jackson is going to be a dog for the Vikings. He was drafted 24th this year. And then Tyleik Williams is going to be a dog for the Detroit Lions. I'm excited to see him play. I'm excited to see him play Donovan actually a couple times a year. And then I think that one of the biggest people are going to be so upset that they passed up on is Josh Simmons at 31 for the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs got an absolute, that's a lottery pick of a end of the first round. Like that, I think that was the best thing they could have done is take Josh to protect Patrick Mahomes and stuff. So I'm excited for that. I think Will is going to be great over there at the Steelers. Everyone's already comparing him to Big Ben, so I think that he's going to have a really good opportunity. Like just oh my God, it's hard to just like pick dudes out. But I think everybody's going to be successful. I'm excited to see everyone's journeys and see how their rookie year, starts up. But yeah.
I think journey is the word, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of, what advice would you give for young guys out there trying to juggle football and academics, trying to accomplish multiple dreams?
Man, it is hard. I think the easiest way to put it is that you can't have one without the other. You can't have football without school, and you can't really do. I mean, maybe you can do school without football, but like for me, that's what made school doable is playing a sport and being with your friends and all the guys. And I would just say like extra work, always be doing like the whatever your coaches. I'm sure everyone's coaches are giving them what they need to be doing, like they have it planned out, but like Saturday, Sunday, like days off, like you guys, like everybody, you should understand that, like have that drive to go to the field, get some extra stuff in. Like to me, when I was in high school, there was like a very satisfying feeling of like being there by myself doing this stuff because it just felt like I was getting ahead of people or just getting an edge. And it just that it kind of helped me a lot. So I would just say that kind of just stay hungry with that kind of stuff and exhaust yourself.
This is advice across the board. I think anybody can get something out of that. We'll wrap up with a little quick fire then. So, Will Howard or Kyle McCord?
Oh wow. I think that if I could choose both of them, I could. I mean, obviously, I mean, I came up with Kyle. Kyle was in my class. Like, it's tough. I love both the dudes a lot. I mean, obviously, our team, we won a natty with Will. Will's forever going to be a legendary Buckeye. So I guess we'll go with Will Howard, but I love Kyle. Kyle's my dude still.
Curt Cignetti or Ryan Day?
That's tough. And what, just overall or kind of just how they coach?
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. That's tough. It's hard for me to pick. I'd say, like, I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer to that one.
Okay. Win the Heisman or win the Super Bowl?
Oh, man. That's tough. I think that every year when I watch the Super Bowl, I'm kind of just like, man, I wonder what that would feel like. I mean, that's the top of the top. I think I'd want to win a Super Bowl, honestly. I think that would be, winning the Heisman would be great. But I think at least the feeling of like winning a national championship with a team, like there's something different about being connected to guys like that versus an individual award.
Yeah, 100%, man. I would say objectively, this is the way. Big Ten or SEC?
Big time, for sure. I'm still here. I could have left, but I stayed.
Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I'm always kind of lean towards the like right now. I know that there's legends and stuff, like people obviously from the past doing amazing things, but I would say Patrick Mahomes. I think that his future, just what he's doing as like individual, he's insane. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
Favorite cheat day meal?
Cheat day meal. Man, I really like crumble. I'll go hit up crumble. Me and Donovan would go. Honestly, every week would be checking the crumble cookie flavors on Sunday. So that's kind of my go-to.
Yeah, man, I'm obsessed. Best locker room DJ you've ever had?
Ooh, I think it depends on the day, but I would say Carson Hinsman or Toby Wilson from just Ohio State. They'd always throw on some really good stuff every time they got the aux.
In a fun way, not in a negative way, who's the most annoying teammate you've had?
Oh well, I would say in a fun way, no one's gonna know. Maybe his name is Julian Jackson. He's a walk-on offensive lineman at Ohio State, and that's all I'm gonna say about him. It's him.
Okay. Who hits hardest in practice?
Um, like that I've ever practiced against or right now.
That you've ever practiced with?
Man, I would say probably Taraja Mitchell. He was a linebacker for us my freshman year. He went to Florida after the 2022 season. I mean, he gave me a concussion in spring ball my sophomore year. So, yeah.
Oh, damn. What about now?
Right now, I'd probably say usually your hardest hitters are going to be linebackers. It's kind of hard to. I don't pull. We don't. Tackles aren't pulling a whole lot. Like to kick out DN. So I don't know who's hitting on the that spectrum. But I'd probably say Aiden Fisher here. He's a big, strong dude. He's going to pump you.
What song gets you hyped before a game?
Ooh, it kind of changes. If I had to pick a direct one, I'd probably say 007. It's by 223. I don't know how many people are gonna know that, but I like that song a lot. It gets me going.
Okay, one to look up. Would you rather pancake a defender or score a touchdown on trick play?
Score a touchdown on trick play for sure. I've been practicing my celebrations for 4 years, and I haven't gotten it yet.
It's coming. Dream celebrity to have in your offensive line?
Oh man, he might not be a very good offensive lineman, but I think Snoop Dogg would be pretty cool to play next to. I think it'd be awesome.
It would be fun to have in the huddle for sure. Yeah. Zen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Wishing you all the best over there back home in Indiana. Good to see you, and we'll be watching with interest. Maximum respect, and thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.